Hello everyone! This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series. I'm your host, the Report of the Week. I adjusted the focus, but we are now good. Everything is all good now. You wouldn't believe what I'm trying out today. As you know, this year so far, the quality of fast food is just through the roof. We're getting some of the best stuff ever, some of the top-tier quality and ideas, and this is, this blows everything else out of the water. Especially when it comes down to McDonald's. All those celebrity meals that they had, forget them, they are absolutely nothing compared to this. Every other item that you have ever heard of from McDonald's, every special release or new item, forget it. It's inconsequential to this. This is the zenith of fast food. This is the pinnacle. It doesn't get any better than this. So right now, as you are about to hear this monumental idea, you gotta strap in right now. Take a sip of water, take a sip of something, and just hold on, and hold on tight, because it's gonna be a wild ride. You won't believe this, so get ready. Are you ready? If you're not, too bad, because we're just going for it now. McDonald's, starting today, has released the new menu hack menu. Here's how it works. Maybe you heard a few years ago, now we might even be talking decades at this point, there was the concept of various menu hacks on McDonald's. So it'd be like, if you get you buy separately a double cheeseburger and a McChicken, and then you put the two things together and you make some sort of special sandwich that isn't on the menu, and stuff like that. Well, McDonald's is finally addressing these sorts of hacks, as they say, and for a limited time, they will now have the menu hack item. The menu hack menu. There you go. Here's how it works. First, you need to download the McDonald's app. Why? I have no idea, because all these things are already on the menu. Quite frankly, it's just so they could send promotions your way and all of that. But forget that. Let's just say that you need to download their app. Then, they are going to allow you to choose from 4 menu hacks. You buy the items separately, and at least from my experience, you pay full price, and they will give you the items separately, and you're going to have to assemble it yourself. I know, this is groundbreaking stuff, right? If only they'd fire all the cooks and you'd make you go into the kitchen and you'd have to pay to cook it yourself, right? That was sarcasm, by the way. But, yeah. This is, people aren't too happy or thrilled with this one, admittedly, and I kind of think the concept is a little silly, too. Not the hacks themselves. The menu hacks are kind of cool, but, yeah, so the way that it works, you got to download the McDonald's app, then you have to buy the items individually, pay for them individually, and then they'll give you the individual items, and on your own, you're going to have to assemble them into the desired hack. So it just is what it is. A lot of people are kind of scratching their heads and they're saying, what's the point of this? It just is what it is. What more can I tell you? But of the 4 potential hacks, here's how it is. You can get the hash brown McMuffin. So you would buy a hash brown and a sausage McMuffin with egg, and you would combine the two and put them together. You can get the crunchy double, which comes with a 6-piece chicken McNugget. You've got to get tangy barbecue sauce and a double cheeseburger. And you drizzle the sauce on the nuggets, and then you put the nuggets on the cheeseburger. You can get the surf and turf, which is a Filet-O-Fish and a double cheeseburger. So you'd put the Filet-O-Fish onto the cheeseburger. Or you can get the land, air, and sea, which is a McChicken sandwich, a Filet-O-Fish sandwich, a Big Mac, and then you would combine all 3. Now, I decided to go with the land, air, and sea item, so I ordered that. I paid $8 for it, so I paid for a McChicken, a Big Mac, and a Filet-O-Fish. So as you will see, here's the McDonald's bag. we have Filet-O-Fish, a Big Mac, and a McChicken. So this is how it's going to be for you. They're going to give you the separate components, and you're going to have to assemble it yourself. And like I said, it has a lot of people wondering what the point of all of this is, but who knows. So that's what we're going to do. Now, in order to assemble, I think I said the price, right? It's $8 for this. So you've got the McChicken, the Big Mac, and so let's get the Big Mac out first. So we've got the Big Mac here. Let's get the Filet-O-Fish. Got that here. And we gotta get ourselves this McChicken, which is here. And I also got a Coke. And I like that they're actually going with the Taco Bell approach. They're kind of, you could see it. It's nice. It's a nice touch. I always advocate for that. All right. So we got our 3 sandwiches right here, as you can see. And now we have to assemble it, the land, air, and sea. So what order does this come with? All right. So I've got the Big Mac bun right here. Let's try not to make this overly complicated. Sometimes I have a tendency of doing that. We got the Big Mac bun. All right, then I put the McChicken. So I take this, and I put that on top right there. So then the Big Mac bun goes on top of that. Then I get where the middle bun is. Okay. And then I put the Filet-O-Fish patty right down here. And then I put it like that. So that's what you have to do. So this is how you do it. Look at this pile of food. You know, here's one thing that I kind of, just a peeve of mine, and I'm not trying to bash McDonald's on this, but, you know, I feel bad for the poor buns now. It's kind of incentivizing just kind of food waste at this point, that all this bread, you know, you buy it and you don't need it now, so right into the trash bin it goes. But now, honestly, I'm just going to throw that out for some raccoons, probably. There's also a cat that comes by, so him or her, I'm not really sure, will have a nice little feast on some bread. But that's how it's going to be. You're just going to be left with the spare buns. But now there you have it, the land, air, and sea. You might say, why are you wasting your time with all of this preparation? Because I want to show you what you're going to be doing as well. And here is the final product right there, the land, air, and sea. Again, it's a combination of all 3. Let me make it a little prettier, like so. And I'll get a thumbnail shot like this. Something like that. Yeah, so that's how it goes. That's the land, air, and sea. You want me to cut it in half, or you want me to try to eat it like this? Maybe I could try to cut it in half. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to just take a bite as normal, and then I'll cut it in half. So again, McChicken, Big Mac, and Filet-O-Fish. You know, there's no way I'm going to be able to bite into this thing. My jaw only opens so much, and there's not a chance. But for the sake of entertainment, have fun watching me try to eat this. The land, air, and sea from McDonald's attempting. Hey, I did graze a tiny bit of each piece. Isn't that something? That has exceeded my expectations. Yeah, I'm just going to cut the thing in half. I think you just wanted to try to see me eat the whole thing in one sitting. Okay. There's the cross section of it for you. Now I'm just going to try to squeeze it together just so I could try to eat this. I'm just not a fan. Just not a fan of it. Admittedly. To be upfront, I don't like how the Filet-O-Fish sandwich, it clashes with everything else in my opinion. I think the McChicken and the Big Mac are okay. I think they work together all right. But the Filet-O-Fish sandwich just doesn't really, it just tastes off. That fishy taste, it just doesn't really, it just doesn't work. It clashes with the Big Mac sauce. It just clashes with the beef and the chicken, and it just doesn't work together. I'm not a big fan of it. It's a hassle to eat. I think it's a bit too. I just think it's a bit too big, and it's just a little problematic in terms of eating. It's very, very messy. And like I said, it just doesn't really work. The different sauces all kind of clash with one another. Like I said, the fishy patty just doesn't really work with the McChicken and the beef. And quite frankly, it just doesn't taste that good. The onions just don't work with the fish. It's just, I'm not a fan of it. That's all that I could really tell you. It just does not work. The McDonald's, I mean, it is what it is personally. I wouldn't bother with this. That's just me. That's just me saying that. I really wouldn't bother with this. I would just go and I'd probably just get a Big Mac and a McChicken and forget about assembling the silly thing. I would just, because what's the point? You're not even getting a discount. You're just paying for all this stuff. At least that's what they charged me individually. So what's the point? I'll just buy myself, if I really want it, a McChicken and a Big Mac, eat the two things separately. I mean, what, if I really want the flavors, I could take a bite of the Big Mac and then chase it down with a bite of the McChicken. But I don't know. I don't really understand the point of this. I guess for some, maybe it's a novelty. And maybe some people, I guess, if you want to do like the food challenge stuff and you want to put it together and, get a picture or something for social media, I guess you could do that if that's what you want. But otherwise, I don't really get it. It just doesn't really make much sense. It doesn't really seem practical. It seems like you're just wasting time putting this thing together. It doesn't even taste good. There's no discount. They want you to download their app just so they can bombard you with offers and whatnot and just, spam and what have you just to get you to keep coming back. I just don't understand it. You could go and do this any day anyway, and the promotion doesn't really seem like it's all that much, and it doesn't even taste that good. So I don't know. I'm sure that there's some McDonald's fans who maybe disagree with my assessment, and that's fine. It's your view. I get it. It's all good. But as for me, this just isn't for me. It's a promotion that I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to understand the point of this all. It would be one thing, of course, if they could just assemble it and then you were getting this as like a special sandwich, but it just seems very low effort if you ask me. I don't like how you have to get the food anyway and then you wind up throwing all this bread out. I mean, I know most people probably won't care, but I don't know, it just bothers me a little bit. So I don't like that. And it's just very messy and Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those promotions that just goes over my head a bit. Maybe I'm just an outlier. I'm willing to admit that. Maybe everyone loves this thing, but as for me, I think it's silly. I don't think it tastes good. And I am struggling to see the point of this. I think maybe the idea is there. I understand the menu hacks, but it would be one thing if, again, you were able to just order this sandwich as is. But I don't know. I think the execution of it as it is presently is horrible, in my opinion. And that's just my 2 cents. With fast food, as you know, the world of fast food, you win some, you lose some. And like I said, I think the execution of this idea was just off. And that's my opinion. So therefore, out of 10, I think the idea is silly. I think it's silly that you're just buying everything individually. I think it's silly that you're putting it together. It doesn't taste good. Therefore, out of 10, I'm giving this item, as well as the concept in general, a 3 out of 10. I'm just not a fan. But, McDonald's, look, I don't hate them. And whatever they release next, we'll give it a shot. These reviews, they're all independent of one another. And like I said, with fast food, you win some and you lose some. But this, not a fan of. But it's a novelty. If you want to get it yourself, just put the thing together, get that social media picture of it. By all means, give it a shot. But this is just the experience, and I don't really see anyone on their lunch break just going through all of this. I just don't see that happening. That's all that I have for you. Until next time, I'm your host, the Report of the Week.